Hmm. I understand you are an accidental writer. You didn't set out to write.
No.
Tell me a bit about how this came to be.
Okay, so I'm sitting at the airport minding my business. This was 2009. We were snowed in at Heathrow, so the flights couldn't go. And there was a 2-hour delay. So I'm reading a book. I finished reading that book and bring out my laptop and started writing. For me, I was passing time.
You just started writing a story.
It just came, I wrote it. 2 hours later, I bored and that is it. Then somehow somebody takes this story from my laptop, prints it out, and gives it to Papa. Papa is Mr. Richard Mofedami Joe. His father figure, everything, in my life right now. My biological dad is late. When I was little, he died, so he's been dad.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you. So Papa gets the story, and I'm petrified because he's my fiercest critic. He's the one person who says to me, when everybody's saying, oh, fine, it's cool, he says it's mediocre, you can do better, it's good, but for you, it's nothing. You need to step up. So I was really petrified, but thankfully he read it and he liked it. He cried. So he calls me and he says to me, this is brilliant. And as I'm jubilating, he hits me with, you need to write a book. So I'm like, no way, I don't want to write a book. But when he places an intellectual demand on you, you have to deliver. So thankfully, I'd always be indebted to him.
So that was how that led to the writing.
I didn't set out to write
of this book.
Yeah. I write, but I didn't want to write a book.
There is the reader of this book is confronted with a conflict, if you may. There is a message of the book, which is very powerful, abuse of women, very moving stories, There's that part. But there's also the art of the writing. It's, in my opinion, very engaging, very, very artsy. Let me read a part here, and then I'll use it to ask my question. I'll read from my favorite story, Disowned.
How did I guess?
Okay. Oh, it's nothing fancy, just a simple house on a hill. I hear my husband say with his boyish chuckle as I walk up to the group. Here comes the future First Lady, Dete says, and the group turns to me, smiling. Femi's face lights up as he flashes a broad smile. No, not future, Dete. She's already a First Lady, my First Lady, he says. Okay, just random reading. As a writer, how do you craft? You've got very nice descriptive skills from your writing. How do you describe? How do you come up with descriptions as a writer? I'm asking you this entirely as a writer now, your writing experience. How did you come up with those pictures that describe the stories in this book?
Let me first put it out there. I do not have any writing experience or training.
You had not written prior to this?
I am just a writer, born a writer. I always wrote. But I'm very colorful in my speech. I'm a storyteller. I like to say I'm a storyteller. I'm a fantastic storyteller. If I tell you a story, you would get it because I'm very descriptive. So when I write as if I am speaking because I am speaking not the words. I'm speaking the letters.
Okay.
So I wrote the way I spoke. I wanted people to know me from reading my book. And if you read this book and you have a conversation with me, you know you're talking to the same person.
Were you more drawn by the message of the stories or by that compulsion to write and paint a beautiful, precise picture? Were you more drawn by, which drew you more?
The message of the story drew me, and what that did for me, because I became engrossed with the story. The stories became me, and I became the stories. What it did was I didn't struggle with telling them. Okay. It came naturally. So every time I sat in front of my computer, and I start typing, it came. I never had, you know, the writer's block. I didn't have it for 1 minute. So I just kept writing. And
How long did it take you to write this?
actually, it took me about 5 years to write it. But from the first day I wrote a word at that airport to the day you took the book in your hands, it took 9 years.
At your book launch, you had all these famous Nollywood stars reading from your book, you know, and it was a very emotional experience. I spoke to a lot of people there, and it was a really emotional experience. And for me, you know, I said to myself, this is a good way to get a book out. You know, what are your thoughts? How did you feel that
Okay,
day?
let me just say this quickly. I didn't want Nollywood stars. I didn't want celebrities. I wanted women who have inspired me and mentored me from near and far. I wanted people I respected their intellect. I wanted the Biola Alabis, the Bola Atas. I wanted the Adesua Anyianukas, the Joke Silvers. I wanted Kate Henshaw. I wanted Chaffee Bell. I wanted women who are not the slay queens. I wanted the smart queens because that's what I stand for. So I was very, very picky about the people I wanted. I wanted Auntie Betty Rabo, but it was her birthday. She was going to come. In fact, she was so apologetic. These are women that over the years, I have looked at them and I had said to myself, if I'm going to be anything, this is who I want to be.
It was just coincidental that many of them happened to be Nollywood.
Yeah, it's just that
icons,
they are accomplished in what they do. Bolata is in banking. She's with UBA, the corporate communications director for UBA. And Biola Labi was the MD of Mnet. She now runs a media company. Anyianuka is a publisher. But you see, it just goes back to show you that these are accomplished women. I don't care about Botox and things like that. I care more about what's here.
Yeah.
So those were the people I wanted. And I begged Papa. I said, I want them. And I feel so honored that they came out. And I'm so glad the book affected them the way it did.
Nina, we have to stop here. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And keep those stories coming.
Thank you. And please keep the book club alive. Some nerds like us, we still need to read.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you on Channels Book Club.
Thank you.